Hey everyone, it's time for a November wrap-up. November has been a month of ups and downs, video-wise, book-wise, life-wise. So let's start with the videos I uploaded and the conversations we had. We talked about ambition and work and how we value our work. And I really enjoyed your comments there, especially you sharing your stories and reminding me that working freelance doesn't always mean that you work for yourself, but often means working for others as well. Thank you very much for talking with me there. Then we also talked about getting back into habits and routines, which was more a reminder for myself to hold myself accountable. But a lot of you said you needed that reminder as well. So let's stick to our habits and routines as best as we can and start over every time we give up. And of course, thank you all for your good wishes for my new job and the comments on my letter to November. So now let's get into the books I read. I read good books, meh books, and really bad books. And the only physical book I actually read was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I uploaded a review where I explained that I didn't like the writing. I didn't really like how she did everything. For me, there were a lot of inconsistencies in this book. And I really enjoyed your comments, and I'm very grateful for you to explain to me what you liked. And a lot of people apparently liked how vague this book is, because it gave you freedom to decide what was going on and interpret a lot, which I didn't like. I'm not sure if I made it completely clear that I understood what she wanted to do and that I think that the world is gruesome and horrible and definitely not something we want. But I definitely think that it could have been done better and her writing just did not appeal to me. The rest of the books I read were on my Kindle. There were a lot of short stories. For example, Tear Tracks by Malka Older, which is a story of first contact. And what I really enjoyed about this one was the writing style and also how it took a spin on the values we have on our society and how we took our own values to meet the aliens or this different species, and how it definitely didn't work because there were different values there and the impact that had. And it also made you reflect on the values our society had. I really enjoyed that. Then I read also a short novella by Kaya Shanti Wilson, A Taste of Honey, which is a second novella or novel. And it is set in the same world that his first novel, Sorcerer of the Wild Deeps, was set. We get the story of two male characters and how they meet and how their life is going on. It is very difficult to talk about this book without spoiling it, but it is very beautifully written and it is amazing. Just the way he tells his stories, I just love it. I can only recommend Kaya Shanti Wilson to you. Then I read another novella by Gail Carriger, Romancing the Inventor, which surprised me because it wasn't as romancing as I expected. After reading her first novella, I expected it to be more erotic than story-wise, but this one is a little bit longer. It's, I think, 150 pages, and it focuses on the story of a young Miss Hale who grew up in a village and wasn't connected to any of the things that happened in the story before. And it is very refreshing to have a character come into this world that we know so well from having read everything else and interact with these characters that we know so well. But she doesn't know anything about the world and about anything that has happened, and I just love that. It was very entertaining. It is, of course, a love story because Miss Hale falls in love with Madame LeFou and there's complications there. So it was an enjoyable read as well. The last novel I read was Synners by Pat Cadigan, and it's a science fiction classic, I would say, from 1991. And even though I enjoyed the idea of the book, it's all about having implants in your brain and connecting yourself to the computers and getting out your ideas and getting closer to others when you connect to each other with those sockets you have and all of that. The world she created is very interesting, especially from the point of view that it was in 1991. So from today's point of view, this just all seems normal, but in 1991 there were a lot of the gadgets we have now not available. So that is a very interesting aspect. Some of the characters and the story are also very interesting, but overall I found this was very long. It's almost 500 pages and it's very complicated to keep track of the characters and what's going on. And a lot of it feels like it's been written to reflect how high the characters are because they're often intoxicated and jumping back and forth, and there's not often a clear line of what to follow, and it confused me a lot, and it also confused me too much to actually put up a real review for it, because I can't really say what it is, what happened exactly, but I understood it. But it wasn't that much fun, and at the end I just wanted it to be over with. On audio I listened to 2 books this month. The first one was Rules of Civility by Amor Towles, and I don't really have an opinion for this. It is a story of Katie Content and her year 1938, how she experienced her life, her friends, her work and career start, and it's a very changing year in her life. And she meets a lot of characters and she talks about them. And it's sort of interesting, and you flow along. The narration is very nicely done. You just listen to it and it goes very smooth. But I found myself not really caring about the characters. A lot of them I was just like, why do you do this? And some I actually didn't like at all. And I was like, this is horrible what they do. And I don't know. It just didn't evoke any feeling, any interest. I listened to it, it was nice, but it's just no reaction whatsoever. Contrary to that was the other audiobook I listened to, Dragons of Dorcastle by Jack Campbell. It's the first in the Pillars of Reality series, and it was so much fun. I listened to a review and I didn't pay that much attention. I knew it was about magicians and steampunk and something like that. So I went into this story pretty blind, and we meet the mage Elaine and we meet the mechanic Marie in the beginning, and they're in a caravan, and then the caravan is ambushed and everybody's killed and they have to escape together. And we learn about their world through their interaction, through those 2 characters, which are the main characters of the whole series as far as I get it. And we learn that mages and mechanics don't really talk to each other. And the whole world is built up of mages, mechanics and commoners, which are the 3 types of people you can get. And the mages and the mechanics are superior, and they think they're better, and they look down on the commons and also don't interact with each other. And so it's very difficult for the 2 people in the beginning to trust each other. And it's very interesting to see how you see them question their training, their upbringing, and realize that maybe things are not right how we are taught. Maybe there are different things, maybe there is more. And when the story progresses, they get back into the city, you learn more about the world in general, how it works, and how there are all technologies and machines going, and how the mages discard that and say that's all nothing, and the mechanics discard all the things the mages do. And it's a lot of fun to read, and it's centered around the relationship between those 2 characters, how they of course fall in love with each other and how they have to deal with that. And it's very enjoyable, it's very light-hearted, it just drags you in, and it makes you feel good and interested and invested in the characters. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to continue the series. Alright, that was my month. As you can see, it was a very mixed bag of books. Let me know in comments how your month was, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.